Hey guys, welcome back to my brand new video. In this video, we'll be doing history again. So I'm using chapter. I'll be doing chapter 3. So guys, so the chapter 3 is the first phase of the Indian national movement, as you can see already as you saw on the thumbnail. So guys, I'm using Total History and Civics Class 10 ICSC, the latest syllabus that was for me 2024. And this is of morning start. So yeah, we'll start with the first chapter, the third chapter, sorry. So first topic. So the history of the Indian national movement can be broadly divided into three phases. The early nationalist phase, the assertive phase, and the Gandhian era. So, guys, this chapter is all about the early nationalist phase, which was from 1885 to 1907. So, 1907 also includes the Surat split, and 1885 we have Dadabhai Naoroji, Surendranath Banerjee, and many more people which come under this. So in the next chapter, we're going to learn about assertive phase, the assertive nationalists, and the nationalism. After that, the Gandhian era, which was from 1915 to 1947. So the early nationalists, who are known as the early nationalists, in its initial years, the Congress was led by a group of leaders known as early nationalists. Okay. So who are these group of leaders? There are many. So we know only five over here. So these five, the early nationalist leaders: Dadabhai Naoroji, Surendranath Banerjee, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Firozshah Mehta, and Madan Mohan Malviya. So these were the five main. There were many, but these are the five main important persons, people, leaders known for the early nationalists, particularly. Okay, then the early nationalist leader who led the Congress and the national movement in its initial years were staunch believers in open-minded and moderate policies. They believed in loyalty to the British Crown. BC Pal, as early nationalist leader, said in 1887. Then, guys, we have to know about the methods of the early nationalists. So, the first method, uh, first objective, before that, we have to read this paragraph. So, go through that. So, early nationalists followed what is popularly known as a constitutional agitation. Okay, agitation method. This implied that they believed in the policy of constitutional agitation with the legal framework and slow, orderly political progress. The methods adopted by the early nationalists had two objectives: first objective and the second objective. So the first objective was to educate people. Okay, all about educating Indians in modern politics, to arouse national political consciousness. So basically, to provide Indian people to uh, you know information about political welfares which were going on at that moment, like we have right now news going on. So even there, the early nationalists were trying to do it to do for the people, and then to create an united public opinion. For this purpose, they relied on the following methods: held meetings where speeches were made and resolution for the popular demands were passed. So basically, the early nationalists who were there, they basically held meetings, as they said, where the speeches were made for the people, a resolution for the popular demands were passed. So the early nationalists were used to give the resolutions for Indians for the demands, whatever they had, and which were passed. And they made use of press to criticize the government. Government means none other than the British people, Britain. So what happened is they as they made speeches, they even used the press to criticize, to go against, you can say, against the government, against the British crown. And yeah, they sent memorandums and petitions to the government officials and the British Parliament, in the sense British Crown or British people. So they send memorandums. What is memorandums? It's already written over there. Warning. So what is this warning? Warning is you know kind of nothing which and petitions. So petitions. How to say? Petitions were like you know a bond, or yeah, it was a document, you can say, where a lot of Indians signed so that to uh, give the government some order, okay, to complete it. And then we have the second objective, which is all about the was to influence the British government and the British public. To achieve this objective, they follow the following methods. So the first thing is they made use of three P's. Three P's means petition, prayer, and protest. So they sent petitions, requests, and letters of protest to the British government to look into the problems of the Indians. The British Committee of the Indian National Congress was set up in London in 1889, which published a weekly journal, India, to represent India's case before the British public. So what happened is the first thing is the second objective is they made use of three P's. Okay, the early nationalists used the three P's. Three P's means petitions, as I said, this one, prayers, protest. So they sent petitions, requests, and letters to protest to the British government to look into the problems of the Indians, because the British were not doing anything well, they were doing exactly opposite, kind of. So the British Committee of the Indian National Congress was set up in London in 1889, as you can see, as you can understand by the line itself, which published a weekly journal. So they used to publish a weekly journal, journal. Then India, to present India's case before the British public. They were representing the India's case. So deputation of the Indian leaders was sent to the Britain. Deputation of the Indian leaders were sent to the Britain, because delegation is also because by the way, delegates, it's all about delegates, okay, where Indian people voted. Okay, so deputation of the Indian leaders was sent to the Britain. Then we have the prominent early nationalist leaders coming up right now. So the first person is Dadabhai Naoroji from 1825 to 1917. He was known as the grand old man of India. He was born in a Parsi family in Mumbai on September 4th, 1825. Remember that. And his contribution is very important. So, what are the contributions? Contribution, the first thing, India's unofficial ambassador. Dadabhai Naoroji, also known as Grand Old Man of India, was given the title India's unofficial ambassador because in 1865 he founded the London India Society in collaboration with W.C. Banerjee, Umesh Chandra Banerjee. So yeah, then he also founded the East India Association in London in 1866. Then the role in Congress of Dadabhai Naoroji was simple. It was like Indian National Congress, and he was elected its president thrice. So 1886, 1893, and 1906. All these years are important. The resolution on self-government and boycott, Swadeshi, and the national education were passed by the Congress under his presidentship. Then what do we have? Then we have the third one, which is the exposed the economic ills of India. So this was all about that. He wrote a book. It was known as Drain Theory, where he explained about the British Britain people, where they took our all India's products, raw materials, and basically it's a, as the word says, drained. So India's wealth was being drained to the England through various ways. As we learned in the first chapter, that was the exploitation, economic exploitation. Remember, if you have not seen, I'll put it in the I button. If you want, then you can go watch. So before that, after that, poverty, and the books he wrote was Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. This is very important. His famous drain theory explained how India's wealth was being drained to England through various ways. This was it. Then we have the next person, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, 1866 to 1915 was his period. So Gopal Krishna Gokhale was born at Kolhapur in Maharashtra in 1866. He was a professor of history and economics at Ferguson College in Pune. He was given the title of CIE, Companion of the Indian Empire. Important, he was given the title of CIE, Companion of the Indian Empire. Now we gotta know his contribution. His contribution goes again for three things. Actually four things. The fourth thing is on the next page. So first thing is persuaded the British for reforms, incurring huge expenditure on British army. Okay, he criticized the government on issues such as incurring huge expenditure on British army and adopting the policy of racial discrimination in appointment to high posts. Imposing production tax on cotton. Then he played an important role in the passage of Minto Morley reform. You can also write this as his contribution because this also comes under it and it's very important, guys. Then we have servants of India Society, where this was the yeah, this was what he created. So Gokhale set up the Servants of India Society in 1905. The main aim of the society was to train national leaders who would dedicate themselves to the service of India. Some of the important members of the society were Srinivas Shastri, Shredanath, Shredyanath Tundru, yeah, and role of Gopal Krishna Gokhale as Imperial Legislative Council, which is also known as British Crown. So in 1902, Gokhale became the member of the Imperial Legislative Council. He pleaded in the council for reduction in salt duty, guys. That's what it is. Gopal Krishna Gokhale pleaded for reduction in salt duty. This is important. Okay, guys. Then he tried not to he tried to introduce a bill with a view to make primary education compulsory, but he could not achieve much success in it. Being an economist, he demanded radical changes in the fiscal policy and better jobs for the educated middle class. He impressed upon the government to reduce the land revenue. So Gokhale and the Gandhiji. Gokhale went to South Africa where he helped Gandhiji in his fight against the racial discrimination. So he was also given a title over here as political mentor. Gokhale died on February 15, 1915, when his popularity was at its peak. Then we have Surendranath Banerjee. His period was from 1848 to 1925. He was a nationalist leader, popular generalist, and dedicated educationalist. He was born in Bengal in 1848. He was the first Indian to qualify the ICSA, means Indian Civil Service Examination. He was elected to the Bengal Legislative Council 4 times. In 1921, he was appointed as the Minister of Self-Government and Health by the Governor of Bengal. This is important, it will be asked. He was the first Indian to hold that position. That's why. Then his contribution. So his contribution was first thing he established the IA, Indian Association. Founded the Indian Association in 1876. Its aim was to educate the people, to create strong public opinion in the country, and to arouse political consciousness and unity. Created All India Political Organization. Okay. In 1883 at Kolkata, Surendranath Banerjee, Indian National Congress merged with the Indian National Conference. In 1886, important, 1886 years are important, don't forget. And as both organization had similar objectives, he presided over 2 sessions of the Congress in 1895 and 1902. Then political ideas. This is simple and important. The first thing is, now the first thing, the whole thing is that he went against the completely agitation. He started agitation completely against the License Act, Arms Act, Vernacular Press Act, against the lowering age from 21 to 19 years appear in the ICHC examination, ICSE. He opposed the Minto-Mori reforms too of 1909, which introduced separate electorates for the Hindus and the Muslims. He opposed the division of the Bengal by Lord Curzon in 1905. And here we have finished our chapter. Well, Banerjee, popularly known as the father of the Indian nationalism, breathed his last in 1925. Means in he died in 1925. And there we go. We are done with our chapter 3, history and civics, history basically. So yeah, of class 10, and I hope you understood it, had some fun learning. I think I'll meet you in the next video soon in of chapter 4. Yes, yeah. This was a small chapter of 5 to 6 pages, 5 pages. So next chapter is kind of big. This was short because some of the pages were cancelled due to my syllabus, and basically they were important. And yeah, this is suitable for 2025 examination people. So, yeah, have fun. See you guys. Take care. Stay safe at home. And I'll meet you in the next video, guys. Till then, take care, everyone. And yeah, see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. And peace out.